On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
And
spent a lot of money on women, you said?
Females on at one point in my life, right? And I want to let you know that, Ariel, sometimes it's not about the woman. It's an ego thing, right? I know men that go to strip clubs and 10,000, right? Don't know any of these women. And they have other men across the bar spending 20,000 trying to bottle offs, trying to not impress the girls in the room, but go against the other guys. It's an ego thing. It's not about the woman all the time when they do that, right?
But ain't that foolish regardless?
I'm not here to judge and say if it's right or wrong. I'm telling you, this how they think. I don't cast judgment. I'm just letting you know sometimes it's not about the woman, because you said that what does this woman want if she's going to take all this stuff from you? Like, where's her intentions? I agree with you, but I'm also letting you know sometimes it's not about the woman. It's that man's ego. He wants to feel like he can do anything and change the life. Right. But let me clarify that real quick. When it comes to the world of tricking, from my observation, I see that a lot of men who are not financially stable, aka broke, and men who are greedy and covet money have an issue with men that spend money on women that they have no intentions on being with forever. Sometimes what you consider tricking might be another man's normal behavior. I know men that have money and they like to go on trips. Someone who doesn't have those resources might say, you tricking. That's the only reason why you bagged her. No, homie, I like to go on trips. And whoever's with me at that day is coming on a trip with me. Right?
Yeah, but the difference though, King. So let me just add some context though to that though. Okay. Is because you talking about luxury, but the question specifically talks about, and JR, correct me, is somewhat geared towards need, and so it's like you don't even have to ask. You see what I'm saying? So let me clarify. If I'm doing something and I just want some company,
right,
that's different than somebody needing something and me meeting an expectation that they have for me.
Right.
You on my time versus me addressing something that is on your time. So me doing something for my convenience versus doing something in order to make you feel better, in my opinion, is two different things, is all I'm saying.
Okay, so the question I got was, if a man feels like you're worth it, you don't even have to ask. That has nothing to do with, hold on. That has nothing to do with the variable that you added earlier in regards to marriage that you applied to Chicago River, right? That had nothing to do with marriage. But no,
correct. It's two different conversations. What I'm having right now versus what I was having with Rilla.
But the question that was posed had nothing to do with that variable you added, and you added another variable, right? The question is, if a man feels like you're worth it, you don't even have to ask. It has nothing to do with luxury or stuff that we consider mandatory. Whatever,
absolutely does.
Whatever. If he feels you're worth it on going on a trip, then come. It's based on what he feels that you're worth. Look at the question. It's what.
But is it, King? Is that still tricking? Even if you got it,
right? And I gave that answer.
Okay, because I think that's what Courtney trying to
give the caveat that as a lot of men that who don't have resources,
I agree,
or who covet money,
will
consider certain behaviors from men who are resourceful as tricky.
But see, you just did the same thing that you criticized me from doing. In the very beginning of your argument, you started adding additional variables and context in order to be able to qualify. Wait. In order to be able to qualify your answer, you started adding different context, which I'm not criticizing that, right? I think that you should do that, but you can't call the kettle black when you just did the exact same thing when you led with it with your argument.
Okay, Anton, can you tell me how I did that?
Because you just started adding variables. If you got money, if you don't got money.
Anton, what variable?
I'm clarifying it. If you have money, if you don't have money, those are variables. Right?
Anton, you know what? That's why I say you are an amazing man with finances, but you lack this skill of critical listening. I said, here is the caveat. Can somebody put a dictionary for caveat? Caveat, right? I use the word caveat. That means
you're twisting the words in order to qualify your argument.
Hold on, brother. And I'm sorry, not brother, twin. Hold on, twin. I said caveat, and caveat means when I gave an example of the question that was posed, why I see why brothers call brothers tricks. I see why. Because some of them don't have the money to spend like that, and some of them are too greedy to spend the money that they have. That's all.
That's false, because I introduced the word trick after you qualified what it was that you were saying by adding all of the variables and context that you added. Then you started addressing the whole idea behind the trick.
All right, you guys got to get to Ariel too, y'all.
The reality is that you can't call the kettle black and try to move the goalposts according to how it fits your narrative, and then try to switch it around when somebody else starts to use your same argument against you. Right. It don't work like that. Right. You got to stay consistent across the board.
Antoine. Namaste.
And listen, I know you went to. I know you went. Listen. You got the Columbia. You got the Columbia shirt on. You got the Columbia shirt on.
Antoine, you're good, but not that good. Namaste, man. No problem with you in your pink robe today. Namaste, man.
I'm feeling great. I got
fellas. All right, fellas.
I got that signing bonus today. It's phenomenal.
Courtney. All right, y'all. All right.
Courtney ain't getting
Ariel.
Courtney, is it tricking or no?
Ariel, if a man feels like you're worth it, you don't even have to ask.
So I actually had two thoughts. I actually had the same thought as Courtney at the beginning when you asked the question, that people are not mind readers. That was my first initial thought. So this idea that you don't have to ask for things that you need is false. Like, it doesn't exist. Anytime you're in a relationship, regardless of if it's financial, emotional, a physical need, men and women think completely different. And going into a situation thinking you're never going to have to explain to your partner what you need is foolish. And that's the start of most of your arguments, if you assume that somebody's supposed to know what you want. And then the second thought I had, because we're talking so much about finances, I just thought like that it's just a little bit weird to me to think about somebody spending money on a woman to the point where it's like overly luxurious. Because it's like, what does this woman want? So are you sure that that's the type of woman you want, where you have to spend money on that trip, where you have to spend money on whatever it is, that bag, just because you have it? Because I know, at least at my age, people my age don't have money like that. And when I see dudes doing that for their girlfriends or for their wives, I'm like, I know that most of y'all don't have it. So what you're really doing is making a bad decision. You're going to end up broke. It's that simple. So that's what I thought of when you asked this question.
Well, Ariel, I want to take you on a journey into the mind of a person that spends a lot of money on females at one point in his life, and
that spent a lot of money on women. You said
females at one point in my life, right? And I want to let you know that, Ariel, sometimes it's not about the woman; it's an ego thing, right? I know men that go to strip clubs and 10,000, right? Don't know any of these women. And they have other men across the bar spending 20,000 trying to bottle offs, trying to not impress the girls in the room, but go against the other guys. It's an ego thing. It's not about the woman all the time when they do that, right?
But ain't that foolish regardless?
I'm not here to judge and say if it's right or wrong. I'm telling you, this how they think. I don't cast judgment. I'm just letting you know sometimes it's not about the woman, because you said that what does this woman want if she's going to take all this stuff from you? Like, where's her intentions? I agree with you, but I'm also letting you know sometimes it's not about the woman. It's that man's ego. He wants to feel like he can do anything and change the life.